Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you all for joining us. Standing with me today and sitting some in the front row here for the sake of social distancing are a broad coalition of Illinoisans representing different industries, geographies, and even political leanings. Senator Ann Gillespie, Senator Selena Villanueva, Sam Toya from the Illinois Restaurant Association, Tim Dre from the Illinois AFL-CIO, Kathy Griffin from the Illinois Education Association, Dan Montgomery from the Illinois Federation of Teachers, Don Villar from the Chicago Federation of Labor, Sheila Chalmers-Curran, Matson Village President, and Brian Erbushevsky from the Respiratory Health Association and Open Safe Illinois, a coalition of health, labor, aging, and public interest organizations. Did I get everybody? I want to make sure I've called out everybody. Thank you. The people joining are not always drawn together with common purpose, but there are some causes that are fundamentally right. And those causes draw people together from all walks of life, and keeping our people healthy and safe is one of those causes. As I've visited with and listened to mayors and health departments and people all across our state, it's clear that there is still an even greater need to get people to wear masks, especially to protect frontline workers, whether they're at the front of the store asking you to put on your mask, or whether they're responding to 911 calls to save those in distress. As you know, not only have I traveled the state encouraging people to wear face masks, but we've launched a public awareness campaign designed to change the behavior of those who haven't yet started wearing face coverings. I issued our state's mask mandate 3 months ago on May 1st. Our actions today build on that work. First, this morning I signed legislation to enhance workers' rights in our pandemic response, increasing paid disability leave for injured police and firefighters, paramedics, and other public employees whose recovery has been hindered by COVID-19. This legislation also offers protections from assault for retail workers, many of whom are tasked with asking the public to follow certain COVID mitigation measures indoors. In many ways, these workers are now serving at the forefront of public health mitigation efforts in encouraging social distancing and the use of face coverings. It's in that same vein that the Illinois Department of Public Health is today submitting new emergency rules to assist law enforcement, local boards of health, health authorities, state's attorneys, and the general public in enforcing the use of face coverings and social gathering restrictions. These rules are a common sense way to enforce mask requirements without jumping immediately to the extremely tough consequences that exist on the books today. They'll give local authorities a step-by-step guide on how to enforce masks and distancing, and an opportunity to help businesses act in good faith. The first step in the proposed rule is educating businesses on compliance. The next step is a warning. And the last step, after these repeated attempts to urge compliance, is a fine. Otherwise, many local officials are only left with the stringent and severe enforcement mechanisms available statewide today. The existing enforcement options prior to this proposed rule go immediately to license revocation in the blink of an eye. This new rule provides multiple opportunities for compliance before any penalty is issued. And by focusing on targeted fines as part of a misdemeanor, these rules for scaled penalties that are significantly less harmful to businesses than those currently available for enforcement are the right direction. The majority of states, from our Midwest colleagues like Ohio and Wisconsin to Republican led states like Georgia and Florida — Ohio is also Republican-led, I should add — have similar enforcement in place. And to be clear, the mitigations that require enforcement haven't changed. There has been a face covering mandate in Illinois since May 1st. One of the earliest in the nation. And over the last several months, a flood of states led by Republicans and Democrats have followed suit. The gathering limits in Illinois under Phase 4 currently apply to every region of Illinois. 50 people or gatherings of 50% of a building's maximum occupancy as locally determined. Schools must limit the number of people in one space to 50 or less. This new rule is focused on businesses, organizations, schools, and childcare facilities. Individuals are not subject to any penalty under this rule, but are nevertheless required to wear masks in public. Let me repeat that. This rule does not deliver penalties to any individual private citizen because of noncompliance. It is, nevertheless, their obligation under the law. The vast majority of Illinoisans have made the responsible and compassionate decision to wear a face covering when out and about, and we're going to continue to rely on the public for enforcement on this level. Finally, these policy changes clarify the authority of IDPH and local health authorities to seek cooperation with businesses in COVID-19 related investigations. Illinois has made substantial progress in our fight against COVID-19 because the vast majority of communities and business owners have done the right thing and followed the public health guidance. These rules will help ensure that the minority of people who refuse to act responsibly won't take our state backward. I ask that members of the General Assembly who serve on JCAR move forward expeditiously and give local health departments, law enforcement, and communities the tools they need that are proven to stop the spread of COVID-19. Since the earliest days of our pandemic response, Illinois has been consistent in its mission, prioritizing the well-being of our people. Things are hard right now. I get that. And the people standing here with me today get that. But when it's hard, especially when it's hard, we have to make sure that Illinois supports all the people who call this state home. And when we prioritize our first responders and our workforce, when we put public health above politics, when we choose to keep our neighbors and our loved ones safe and our businesses open, that's what it means to be all in Illinois. Thank you, and now I'd like to turn it over to a great leader in Springfield, Senator Gillespie. Senator.